Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, are you ready? My hearing is not so good. What was that? I said, are you ready? Beautiful. It's Brooklyn in the house. It's Brooklyn in the house. I love it. I am your ringmaster. Jonathan Lee Iverson of Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey presents Legends. And you know we're here. We're coming to your budding legendary arena, the Barclays Center, opening tomorrow, February 20th through March 2nd. Are we going to see you there? Are we going to see you there? Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be magnificent. It's going to be huge. It's going to be legendary.
Really, you need to educate your children. The children, if they knew what really went on, they wouldn't come here. They would not want to see the show. It starts with the children, because the children want their parents to take them to the circus, and you know, they see all the commercials on TV, and it looks all beautiful and all, but it really, it's not. In all honesty, it's all fake on the outside. What they do on a daily basis, they beat up their elephant.
It was a form of torture. Pure abuse for these animals. They need to be out in the wild and free. We don't need animals for entertainment.
I think if people are uneducated, yeah, they can get away with it. For example, like with the bullhook, when they beat the animals behind the scenes, and then when they do the actual performance, they just wave the bullhook around, and the animals are so used to being beaten that it doesn't make contact, but because a lot of that goes behind the scenes. So I think, like, if people want to stay uneducated, yeah, it is possible for them not to see things. But I think the more and more we start to educate people, sometimes the audience does come out and they say, I saw the abuse, or I saw the animals look unhappy.
Yes.
So they can't always hide it. But the most important thing is for the audience to open their minds, to educate themselves and keep an eye on that.
I don't know if it necessarily hides it. I think people just don't know. They don't realize. So that, that's why we're out here, to let them know.
A lot of people are very unaware, I think, of what's going on. They don't even know what goes on in the shelters of New York City. So how would they know what goes on behind closed doors at Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey circuses? It's a very well-hidden secret.
You're taking them away from their homes and you're forcing them to do a job for you where they're not benefiting, but you are. And that, to me, is slavery. Even if you don't see physically abuse, of course, there are many ways that you can hide that, but even if you don't see it, it's there.
People are becoming aware, like, why are we doing this? Why are we using this? Why do we still have this form of entertainment? It seems like a vestige from a past that, human beings aren't so proud of, I mean, there's some things about human beings that we've exploited each other in some horrible, horrible ways. And I think the last stream of consciousness that I think people are going to elevate to is the fact that we're abusing our planet, we're abusing the life around us, and we're going to stop doing it eventually. And I think people are stopping.
Kids get really excited, they look forward to it, and people are just beginning to understand the inherent cruelty behind the scenes.
I remember very well, it was 16 years ago. I found out about a baby elephant. I think his name was Kenny. He was very sick, and but he was forced to perform like twice or three times a day, and that day he passed away. And I find out about this baby elephant who was too sick to do the trick, but was forced until he actually died from disease.
When I was a little kid, I had nightmares about it. Because these are animals that they deserve to be free. No one deserves to be in prison. They've done no crime. They've done no wrong.
As a child, I went to the circus in Colombia, and it was a happy environment for me. I thought it was all happy. I thought the animals were happy. Once I found out the truth behind the circus, I was in shock. I was destroyed.
Have all jackets
You want your kids to see this?
Have all tickets out and ready to be scanned. Please hold your own ticket.
First time you heard an elephant was chained to the ankles and locked in storage for average of 24 hours. How did you feel about that?
Any animals, especially elephants, like tied up, it's a horrific feeling, you know.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary. The first thing I think is it's completely unnecessary. It's cruel. It's beyond what our species should be doing. It's one of the things that happened to me. Like when I see something like that, I become extremely embarrassed to be a human being. How the people who do that can't find empathy and compassion enough to understand how that would feel for themselves or even their dog. I feel horrible about it, and I wish it'd be over sooner than later, and I'm doing whatever I can to make it happen.
Since I was a little girl, I hated the circus. My parents took me when I was little, and I saw them chained on, and I thought it was so cruel. I've always been against circuses. Elephants belong in the wild, not chained on and in cages.
Well, the first time I saw an elephant chained up, I was riding my bicycle past a mall out on Long Island, and I saw an elephant chained to a telephone pole close to a very dangerous and busy intersection. And I almost got arrested that day because I was angry that this was not only a public safety hazard, but it was completely, it was a frightening situation to this wild animal that they were subjected to. So, I complained to the carnival, to the management of the carnival, and I was complaining, and I was, and the cops came and they told me to leave. But that was one of the first times I realized, how human beings have been treating animals.
I realize that what we have as humans are the ability to speak up, which the animals can't. We don't speak the same language that elephants do, so we get to stand up for them, and it gave me some of that feeling of power back. But it still makes me sad every time I see, every time I think of it, every time I see people supporting these organizations. Because it's not like I'm saying that circuses shouldn't exist. Cirque du Soleil is an incredible organization, but it's possible to have a circus without animals.
Are you here to help? I know that in the wild, elephants will walk miles every day. So you can imagine why they develop foot problems and arthritis, and why they're as psychologically disturbed as they are. You can see them swaying back and forth, and it's apparent that they're very negatively affected by that kind of confinement.
I felt heartbroken to know these large, majestic creatures could be chained up and confined into small spaces when they should be free to roam in their homes, not caged up in boxes to be brought out for entertainment whenever humans are ready to torture them out of their boxes and put them on show.
High up! High! High up! And then let me get out of the way. High!
Kitty trunk, hands. Kitty up.
Kitty. Kitty. Kitty up. Kitty. All right.
Big feet up. Big feet up. Big feet. All right.
Do you think this abuse of elephants will change sooner or later?
I'm hoping sooner. I can't predict the future, so I really don't know, but I'm hoping it's sooner.
Well, at this rate, they say, experts say that elephants could be extinct in 12 years. So I hope sooner. If elephants are extinct in my lifetime, I hope soon.
Well, I'm hoping sooner because there are other places that do ban circuses with animals and elephants. So hopefully we can get there. And the new mayor of New York seems to be really animal friendly. So I'm hoping that it'll be pretty soon.
Hopefully sooner, because these issues are being brought to light. You have people protesting here, and well, because this is like this is America, this is New York. People are going to pay attention to it. Hopefully.
Well, you know, I'd like to say it would change sooner, but we're up a very big company with a lot of money, and we're just some concerned citizens. And I think when you have that type of power and influence, it's hard to change. But you know, like I said, I think the opposition is growing, and I think we're definitely going to see this end sooner than we might have thought 10 years ago.
We know that over time the numbers of folks that attend the circus has gone down, and we believe that this is an issue that within a decade or two will be resolved. We've seen many countries already. Costa Rica has banned circuses, and many states within Mexico have banned circuses, and this is a worldwide movement. It's just a matter of time before the circus in the U.S. Gets it right and stops using animals.
Becky, Dave, put your hook on her and yeah, Becky, yeah. Becky, trunk.
As far as we know, the people responsible for the abuse that resulted in that fine still work for Ringling Brothers. So aside from the fine, it doesn't seem like anything happened.
In 2011, I believe, they were fined $270,000, which is the largest fine ever in circus history. So, I mean, that speaks volumes when it's the largest ever.
I doubt that anything happens because big corporations like Ringling Brothers and all of the things that we see behind the scenes in dairy and egg farms, there's never really any punishment for them. People get away with this stuff regularly.
Do you think elephants never forget?
Yeah, I don't think they ever forget. And I think they feel everything like we do.
I strongly believe that elephants never forget. There are many amazing stories of elephants and their sensing of the situations with the people that they have been involved with, and then their recognition of other elephants is amazingly strong.
I know they do. Their brain size is 3 times our size. They remember everything. The maternal elephant guides them for as long as 70 years. They do never forget. They're smarter than people.
No line, no waiting, big book, big show. Hey guys, when you get inside, don't forget to try your delicious fried elephant ears. They're delicious with that beautiful powdery sugar on them. Yummy! Hey guys, 7-day program books, ladies and gentlemen. Ringling Brothers. Ringling Brothers. Ringling Brothers. Ringling Brothers. 7-day books, 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 7-day program books. Guys, I have the program book. Books are 12 on that's on the main floor. Program them on the main floor. 7-day programs. Books, 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 books. Ladies and gentlemen, program books. Don't forget to try your 5 delicious elephant ears. They are so delicious with that powdery sugar. Oh my God! No line to waiting, guys. Souvenir programs. Yes, yes. How are you?
Boycott Ringling Brothers! Boycott Ringling Brothers! Boycott Ringling Brothers! Boycott Ringling Brothers! Boycott Ringling Brothers!
They hurt the animals. 30 elephants have died because of the circus.
Boycott Ringling Brothers! Boycott Ringling Brothers! Boycott Ringling Brothers! Boycott Ringling Brothers!
30 elephants have died because of the show.
Supporting this!
Boycott cruelty to animals.
Ringling Brothers! Boycott Ringling Brothers! Boycott Ringling Brothers! They abuse baby animals! They beat up the elephants! Boycott Ringling Brothers! Boycott Ringling Brothers! Boycott Ringling Brothers! Oh, God!
The cat got your tongue.
Boycott the cruelest animal show on earth!
Has this been a team effort amongst the protesters?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're all in this together. We're all fighting for a common goal. So Lion, IDA, PETA, and my class, we're all together fighting for the common goal.
Oh yes, we have a lot of groups meeting together. We've all converged on this issue, and everyone agrees and everyone knows that the circus is cruel to animals, to elephants, to other wild animals. Now they even have a kangaroo. It's something that we all agree on and we all come together on.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say this organization that's against animal cruelty with the circus animals is a team effort, and they also had an alliance come and join them, the New York Warriors.
Oh yeah, everybody was here yesterday. PETA was here, Defense of Animals, Animal Defense League, the big organizations. There's a lot of grassroots from here. The Animals Battalion, Fawn, Lion from Long Island. So yeah, everybody came together yesterday. Big guys and small guys.
It is a team effort. We have those that are holding the posters and those that are handing out information leaflets and booklets for the kids. And of course, there are those people who just pass by and don't want to know anything about what we're doing, but there's those people who want to have more information, gather more information, and we're there to inform them. It's a teamwork. Everyone has something to do.
Yes, we were all band together. The opening night, there was hundreds of us here.
Definitely. We're all very supportive of one another.
Big group photo, everybody. Let's get down there quick.
Yes, I mean, I think all these folks here care about one or a number of animal issues. They're either defenders of cats and dogs, they're either vegans, but all of these folks are here to fight for the rights of these individuals.
It's a team effort. It's people that we don't even know that show up to protest with us. You don't have to be with a certain organization or a group. Everybody shows up to show their support and their anger and rage for this animal cruelty that needs to stop. We're in 2014. We're supposed to be the most civilized country in the world. Well, we're protesting against the most cruelest show on earth.
Yes, we want this banned. Circus shouldn't be allowed. We want this gone. This is why we're here all together. Trying to inform people, trying to educate people behind the cruel truth, because clearly these people are lying to them, making it seem like it's a happy environment when it's clearly not.
Ringling Brothers got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Ringling Brothers got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Ringling Brothers got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Ringling Brothers got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Ringling Brothers got to go! Ho, ho! Ringling Brothers got to go! Ringling Brothers got to go!
We are now heading to the news people. We want to see if we could get on camera. We found a news reporter across the street filming the Barclays.
Go outside. We're out and not like we're little thing. They can all just leave it in, you know?
Do you guys need help?
No oversized bags or backpacks. No professional cameras or recording devices.
They're shooting that way, so you gotta go this way.
One of them is, the other one is right.
Please note that Barclays Center has a no re-entry policy. We appreciate your cooperation and hope you enjoy the event.
The people that we were out here with, you'll see them at carriage horse demos, you'll see them in front of live markets, you'll see them in puppy mill demos and the anti-fur demos. It's a cohesive unit in which we have like a holistic perspective that we want to protect all species, but we also attack the abuses wherever they're happening. Those animals have their own personalities, their own lives, their own desires. I mean, I've been doing animal rights a long time, and certainly the movement has grown, and also the awareness has really taken over, where more of the general population is aware of what's going on. So I'm optimistic, and also you see that cities across the country do things like ban animal-based circuses. So I think a city like New York City will eventually do that, and it'll be pretty groundbreaking when this big of a city does that. So I think that's going to happen relatively soon.
A lot of people come out for the first night and then it kind of thins out. So we're hoping that, you know, we still have a strong presence as the days come.
And the turnout last year was great. The turnout so far this year has been great, and I think, you know, especially after the movie Blackfish, I think people are starting to understand that captivity is not entertainment, and I think we're going to see a much bigger turnout this year of concerned people. I mean, everyone here is here from different places, supporting different organizations, but at the end of the day, we all want to see the same thing, and I think that's what draws us together and unites us in this fight against the circus.
What is the biggest challenge for the protesters?
The biggest challenge is for people to take it seriously. People don't really get it. They think that protesters are trying to get in on other people's fun. Like they're just here to have fun, but they don't realize the cost of the fun. I think that's the biggest problem.
You know, since I was a kid in the 70s, there's been this sort of fantasy around the circus, and breaking that mystique is definitely, I think, the biggest challenge.
The biggest challenge is the police trying to confine us into a small space when we have the right to be protesting and walking across. This is a public walkway and we're all just civilians. We're holding signs and chanting. I don't think we're in the way of anybody, but they're trying to tell us that we need to stay out of the way. I got warned a couple of times. The cop told me I was going to get arrested, but all I was doing is walking back and forth.
Anyone want a sign?
It's not enough room.
Sidewalk clear. Gotta keep this area clear, folks. Gotta keep this area clear.
To break an elephant. On that side?
Protesters get things thrown at them. We always get people cursing at us. One of the most common things is get a job, which many of us are employed. So I mean, it's coming from all sides. We even have some circus people at other demonstrations come out and speak to us, and you know, they take our information and then they throw it on the ground, and it's a whole. We're getting at it from all sides.
Show
Boycott! Yes! The cruelest show on earth! The cruelest show on earth! Oh, that's like cigarettes! Oh, you're such a tough guy! Is that what you do with the animals? And you got and he threw a cigarette at him, Daddy, come on! Why would you do that? Why did you throw a cigarette at him? I didn't throw nothing at him. Why did you throw a cigarette? 18-year-old kid. That's littering. So not only are you seeing animals that are being mistreated, you're getting cancer while you're smoking.
Yeah, this is the cancerous thing, and I want to die.
Obviously, I don't tell you no prophecy. Enjoy your cigarettes, 14-year-olds. I'm sure your mothers are very proud. Nothing like having proud parents of you. Absolutely. They're probably so proud. Either that or your parents own the joint. People who go see Ringling Brothers, guys. Those are the types who go in to see them and don't Put cigarettes in people. Is that what you do with your pets at home? You abuse animals at home too?
You're illogical.
All heads open the inspected prior to entering the arena. Remove all metal objects and pockets.
Oh my God! You care about your kids? You care about your kids? Language around your kids.
That was funny.
Sorry? Is he? Are you from Barclays?
Don't worry, I got him on camera.
Yeah, he is. He's from Barclays. Don't let him take your picture. He's from Barclays.
Oh, this is Barclays here? Oh, let's take some more.
Film him because he's from Barclays Center taking our picture.
Oh, okay.
Not going to stop.
Not in this country. Not in this country. We're not going to do it.
So basically your advice is for us is to not do it.
No, do what you do. Do it. I didn't give you that advice.
That's all right. You can't be.
Do what you do. Do what you do. You're not going to stop. It's bigger than us.
It's all right.
The circus is bigger than us.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. We're bigger than the circus.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes, we are. Come on, let's, you know what? Let it go.
You're not going to stop. Listen, not going to stop slavery.
Why does she keep doing this?
Circus, not going to stop the mob.
You're here talking to me, aren't you? This slavery will stop.
It's modern now. You're not going to stop. Okay, then. So there you have it. You're not going to stop it. You're talking about stop it.
They stopped in Colombia. They stopped in many countries.
You're not going to do it. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
No, it's not. Ringling Brothers.
Bangladesh work camps. Bullshit.
Soon I've met the elephants. I've met the trainers. I know in depth. I asked them so many questions. Because of PETA, I asked them so many questions for years. Don't go back to here. It's an undercover video. Nothing.
What? Tell me. I'm sorry. I'll listen.
Gonna spit at Jake.
The one from she knew. She was like, he was trying to fight it, and then she was like, alright. Wow, that was just a total joke.
Bulldogs and stolen from their mothers. Boycott animal torture.
No, they shouldn't
Sir,
relax.
you can do better, sir.
The animals can't
Boycott
relax.
animal torture.
The animals can't relax.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What's lovely about animal abuse?
You guys should know better.
What's lovely about animal abuse?
You guys should know better than this. What's animal torture?
Yeah, I really do. They really hurt those giant majestic creatures, and that's just to get them to sit down and walk up on a pedestal. I really didn't like it.
Yes. Animals should not be abused.
Yes, I do. Like, okay, I'm obsessed with elephants. I have the earrings and the necklace. I love elephants. They're majestic animals. But the fact that they're being tortured, it was going to be my first time seeing an elephant up close, but do I want to see them when behind scenes they're actually tortured? It just doesn't feel right. You know, I do hope it changes sooner because it would make a big difference.
I say you could get some petitions and you let everybody know what you're working for. And I don't think nobody will have a problem with it, I'm sure of it. I will not support anybody that's making money and abusing animals also. The people's going to the circus, but they're not seeing how the animals are being treated. They're seeing the animals perform and stuff like that, and the animals look good, but the people are not seeing what's behind the scenes, and you're lying to the people. And when people find out that they're being lied to and how they're treating these animals, they're going to lose their business.
Okay. How do you feel about the circus previously exploiting people with special needs?
I don't like that at all.
Thank you.
It's not a good thing.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, man.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay.
Thank you, Linda.
Linda and Mark, they were going to the circus, and Mark has actually special needs, and Linda's his guardian. They were going to the circus today, and so I spoke to them about the prior link between Ringling Brothers and their exploitation of people with special needs. My organization, Lion, has started a coalition called Lion's Coalition against the human and non-human circus exploitation. Lion's Chance, we're calling it. So we're reaching out to agencies and families like Linda and Mark and asking them to please not bring their individuals to the circus.
Did she actually went inside, purchased a ticket?
No, she didn't go inside yet. They were walking to inside to purchase a ticket, but they had stopped. They saw these wonderful banners and our signs, and she asked me what this was about. So I told her about the animal abuse, and we talked about the exploitation of people in the history of the circus.
बात हजार बार बोल रहा हूँ तेरी माँ का टीवी में भी देख भी हाँ
the end, a razor sharp hook. And video footage has surfaced of Ringling Brothers animal trainers and superintendents beating elephants with bull hooks, beating them around their heads, yanking them by bull hooks, gouging them with bull hooks. It's an instrument that's supposed to cause pain and fear. And actually, if you see elephants up close, very often you can see that something called wonder dust, a gray powder, has been used to cover the bullhook injuries on their bodies.
To break an elephant, it means to use a bullhook, which is an instrument very much like a large fireplace poker. And they use it to poke and prod and beat the elephants into submission. When they're babies, they actually remove the babies from the mother when they're very young. Often when they're still actually taking milk from the mother. And then they deprive them of their mother's comforts. They also deprive them of food. They have I don't know if you've seen the pictures from Ringling before. There's photographic evidence of 6 guys attacking one elephant. There's 4 guys, one on each leg, with chains and ropes binding the elephant. Another guy with a bullhook in the front, poking and beating the elephant, and another guy in the back with an electric prod. And that's how they break his spirit, so that when the elephant sees the bullhook at a show like this, they're not going to beat him in front of 1,000 people.
It's basically a long rod. It could be steel or it could be wood, but the end is a steel hook, and it's got a point to jab, and basically it's a sharp, heavy hook that gets hooked onto their ears or hooked onto their trunks.
Yes.
There's also a video sometimes when they lose their temper, they just flat out hit them with it. So it's really a horrific device.
When they want the elephants to move towards them, they use this end, which they hook into the elephant's thinner skin, which is around their eyes, around their ears, around their trunks, and around their feet. And they use this part when they want the elephant to move away from them. They push it into just any part, and it causes pain. Of course, it's a weapon. Oftentimes, the police will say you can't use this here as a prop because it's a weapon. And oftentimes, trainers won't even be doing it as a way to get the animals to move. They'll do it just as discipline, where they'll whack the animals just as hard as they can with any part of the bullhook they can.
There's no excuse for animal abuse. Your entertainment is not an excuse for animal abuse. Ringling beats animals. Boycott circus cruelty.
Remember this hook. This is what the kids are going to see going to the elephants today. This is what you paid for. This is what you paid for. This is the hook that the kids are going to see going to the elephants today. We ask you to make another choice, Dad. You're a great father. You want to take care of your kids, but we have better ways. We would never allow them to see what it takes to create this. We would never allow them to watch this baby elephant scream at the top of its lungs out of fear. This is the hook that you're going to see today. This is the hook that your children are going to see today going to the animals. You see this hook, sir? This is the one that they're going to see going to the elephants today. Remember this hook. Go to ringlingbeatsanimals.com and see what you're supporting. Hey guys, some of their program no line, no
Beaten with bullhooks into their flesh.
They also deprive them of food, sleep, and water. Electric prodding. They hold them down for up to 6 months of their life in order to break their will. To do these tricks, stupid tricks, to stand on their head. We really need to stand on their head. Is that what we really need to show our kids? We really need that? So every kid who goes to the circus is seeing this hook. And every kid that's going to the circus is seeing this hook on an elephant, and that's acceptable, and that's okay. And that's what you pay for. That's what we pay for as parents. We have an urgent responsibility to do something different, you know? That's my belief. I say it all the time. It's one of the things I say.
You know, LA recently banned bullhooks, so preventing the circus from ever returning there. And it's kind of sad that New York hasn't got there yet. The fact that the circus can't come to LA but come to New York, as a New Yorker, I feel very offended by that.
What else do you want to say to the people?
I just to say this is New York City. There are so many wonderful ways to be entertained that don't involve hurting anybody. It's just a plain and simple fact that you can go to the ballet, you can go to a jazz concert, you can go to the museum, you can do all these wonderful, culturally enriching things in New York City that don't involve cruelty to anybody. And I strongly urge everybody to avoid going to the circus.
You know, I think that this is one of the most barbaric and cruel institutions that is still going on in the world, and I'm glad to see so much support out here. Good job, everyone, for coming out and showing your support. But you know, we can't give up. We can't back down. Nothing's ever going to change if we don't stay strong and stay vocal.
I like them to know to be more caring and more compassionate, and understand that if we do this, we're just destroying our nature, not our nature, but the world's nature, and we should teach better to our children.
I just want people to consider that choosing to see all Earthlings as worthy of our compassion is a revolutionary choice, and it's one that can really make a difference in not just for those Earthlings, but because the animal-based industries are terrible for the environment, they're terrible for the economy, and so to make this choice not only enables us to be more compassionate and healthy human beings, it saves lives of other Earthlings, but it's also really, really positive for the planet. Like this is the way that we can make an individual choice to preserve the future.
Just say to not support the circus, and that if you have any doubts about what we're doing here, just simply to go online, Google Ringling Brothers ethics abuse. There's lots of behind-the-scenes footage, and you can see all of the ethics violations that the U.S. government has pinned against Ringling as well.
You know, a lot of people say, oh, it's been done for many, many years, it's tradition, they're animals, but we're really all connected, and we really can't use that argument, you know, that just because we've been doing it for a long time, that we should still continue to do it. We have to learn from the past and grow as a society and actually as human beings, you know, because we're really all connected. You know, what we do to each other, what we do to the animals, we're really doing to ourselves.
I want to say that I just want people to get educated, just like me. I years ago took my son once to the circus, you know, and until that was over 20 years ago. And it takes time for people to become aware. And I hope that everyone like me will become aware and want to educate themselves for the future generations and educate your children. Go vegan.
Just that we want people to think about their relationship to the animals around them. We as a group don't eat animals. We don't wear animals or animal products. We don't purchase products that are tested on animals, and we don't, go to entertainment that uses animals, in an exploitive way, and that exploits animals. So, we're trying to end the practice of having zoos. We're trying to end the practice of having circuses. We're trying to end any kind of exploitation of animals, and we wish everybody would think about that and start to implement changes in their lives.
I'd like people to open their eyes and wake up and realize what goes on with animals that are used for a capital gain for someone else's benefit, and basically that's all people do when it comes to animals. And it's sickening and it's heart-wrenching to the core to think how people make profits off of our animals when they were put here to appreciate and not for us to take away their freedom.
An elephant should not be living its life in trailers going from town to town. An elephant belongs, these animals that have families, that form societies, they should be in their natural habitats with their families, with their tribes. So this is, there's absolutely nothing beautiful or correct about what they're doing. They're taking these animals from the wild and they're putting them into these unnatural situations. They're terrorizing them to perform. So no, if you want to go to a circus, go to a human circus where you have human performers like Cirque du Soleil, and there's no exploitation and there's no animal abuse.
I would like people to know that elephants do not like to perform. The only time that they perform, whatever it is, doing the trick or doing the drawing, giving you a ride, whatever it is, they are being forced.
I think when it comes to how we treat animals in the world, it's important to remember that all creatures suffer equally. And a human being doesn't suffer more or less than an elephant. An elephant doesn't suffer more or less than a pig or your cat. We all suffer equally. And we have to be aware of choosing a life that doesn't create suffering.
People out there, just be aware, don't stay ignorant. And once you open your mind and you see the light, you'll start thinking differently, and change begins with one person at a time. It doesn't take a whole army, it just starts with you.
I just want to say, from my side, these animals were not born for human entertainment. They're born to live in the wild. They're born to run and be free where they exist, not where we exist. So it's really important that we advocate for that.
Well, educate your children. That's one.
And yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's really horrible that kids get educated the wrong way.
Please don't go to the circus. Please find other ways to entertain your family. As a child, I was at the circus and I saw the elephants and the unicorn and I loved it, but I didn't know any better. There are plenty of people and there's information out there if you're willing to look for it. Please teach your children compassion for animals and all beings.
Go out there, go out there and do your research, because that's how I did it. That's how I learned, If you don't know something, find resources, organizations that can help you, do your research, and hopefully then we can make this stop instead. Hopefully one day we won't have to be here, Everyone can enjoy themselves, but not at the expense of abuse.
I think it's just important that we start looking at animals just like human beings, that they do have a conscience, that we treat the environment and animals worse than any other living creature on Earth. And we need to start respecting animals more and knowing that they are truly beautiful creatures and they all contribute to the world in which we live.
I would say please don't support circuses, don't support SeaWorld, don't support zoos. These are all prisons, these are all people who are trying to make money off of the exploitation of animals. And they should just be left alone. Leave the animals alone.
There is no excuse
for animal abuse!
Look in the mirror, there's a light shining down. I can't describe the state I'm in. I don't know why, but it's looking like the weather is gonna start rolling in. It's been bad since Tuesday, right through to Friday. Seems like the winter's back again. Kick off those worn-out shoes. It's time to make the news. There's nothing left to lose. Kick off those highway blues. gone. Kick off those worn-out shoes. It's time to make the news. There's nothing left to lose. Kick off those highway blues. What's your story, Chicago blues? Why did you go back? God doesn't live there, he's out in the fresh air. He flies in the wind, without and within. The beginning and end, the story must end. OMG, OMG, oh my God. Oh my God. The flowers are dying, the bees don't make honey anymore, or pollinate the plants to make my new pants. We'll soon be eating ants. Rich men pump oil out of the ground. We don't need that stuff around. We can live with alternatives. We don't need to sieve that shit around. OMG, OMG, oh my God. Oh my God. OMG, oh my God.